Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed the networking session. My table was talking about Irish goodbyes, and when you're the facilitator, and you can just start the group session here, you can Irish goodbye people whenever you want to do that. So sorry for table one and all of my compadres there that I just ditched. But we need to get the show for the rest of the evening. So I want to share with you the run of show. So we just got done with our networking component. Hopefully, for those of you that was the first time you were on Remo, you see the advantages of that. The fact that you can move around, talk to whoever you want to, enter and exit rooms. And then this portion is kind of the main stage. So this acts a lot like a Zoom webinar. So now your cameras, unless you're in the presenting team or are going to be on the chat, your cameras don't work and your mics don't work. But the chat on the right-hand side of the screen still works. So you can still chat with people individually. You can chat with people in the general chat. We've realized that there is a Q&A chat for questions for the panel or the people speaking. But most of the time, people just use the general chat and put that. And Kaitlin, who's going to be moderating, will be watching that. So feel free to use the chat as we go on. A couple quick announcements that we talk about in all of our public houses. Our fellowship program that we have at Packard Place, we allow founders who are just getting started to come join the Packard Place community without cost. You have to apply, we screen people, and then give them fellowships to join our community, because we know how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. We want to give access to that and make it easy for people. So not only physical space, as physical space becomes relevant again, but often meeting space for conferences or meeting with other people, and also the mentor roster that we have at Packard Place and the whole event roster. We've kind of turned this program, we just started with co-working space, into more of a incubator light program. So you do get other access and resources here besides just space. And so we really like you to share, spread the word. Jasmine, as I mentioned, is our community manager at Packard Place. This is a great time, Jasmine, to put in the chat the link to the fellowship program that either you can apply or send to people that you think would be good people. We're particularly trying to be welcoming and inclusive of traditionally non-represented or traditionally underrepresented founders, female founders, founders of color, because we want to see that diversity in our Charlotte startup community. I also talk about the founder office hours. This is open certainly to the people in our fellowship, but really open to the whole community. And again, Jasmine could probably put the link to that. A number of great individuals from the community who are giving back with open office hours. I do it myself, so you can schedule time with me. I make it open to the entire community, and people like me that have the ability to kind of pay it forward with some knowledge and time. And there's a great roster of people there. It's still a really well-kept secret, unfortunately, in Charlotte. But encourage you to promote that to folks, and/or if you want to do that yourself, the opportunity to take advantage of that. Let's talk about the election. No, we're not going to talk politics, don't worry. But we do promote at Packard Place active civic engagement. So regardless of your viewpoint on party affiliation, that's not important. We're an apolitical organization, but we do encourage entrepreneurs and people in the entrepreneurial community to be involved and engaged. It's important for entrepreneurs to be asking everyone running for office, what are you going to be doing for entrepreneurs? How are you going to support small business? How are you going to make it inclusive? How are you going to make the resources happen? And of course, with the pandemic, this is maybe more relevant than ever, and it's important to be involved and engaged. And so this is our way of encouraging you to do that. October 9th, 2 days from now, 48 hours from now, is the last time to register. If you are not registered to vote in the election, so please consider doing that. If you are not yet registered, please encourage your friends to go out and get registered to vote. And then early in-person voting starts a week from today, a week from tomorrow. It's crazy, maybe it's a week from Saturday. I personally have already voted by mail, despite what you may or may not believe or you read. It's very safe. They have a great tool called Ballot Track, where you can actually track your individual ballot coming out of the Board of Elections to your house. You can track it once you send it back in through the mail stream, once it's been received, and then once it's been validated as valid and all correct at the Board of Election. It's fantastic. I feel very comfortable knowing that my ballot is already in and has been validated and is sitting there waiting for Election Day. So another opportunity for you to consider, but please get involved in the election process. I also want to turn it over now to Juan Garzon, and I think I need to go make Juan a presenter so he can join up on stage here, unless Jasmine has already done that. I don't think we have. So that Juan can come on and do a couple of quick announcements. And there we go. Juan, you are now a presenter. So Juan can come up on the stage. Juan is the director of Pitch Breakfast, which I think most of you already know, to talk about community events and what's happening. It's one of our favorite segments. So Juan, I'm going to turn it over to you for a few minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Looks like, yep, it's sharing. I'm the director of Pitch Breakfast, which is an event that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But if you are new to the ecosystem or want to learn more about starting your own company, connect with investors, or just connect with other people in the startup community, highly recommend you check out Pitch Breakfast events. And you can learn more about it at pitchbreakfast.com. So we've got several things going on in the next couple of weeks. So I usually join Dan here for these events to just make sure that everybody is aware of some of the events that are going on. And these include an event tomorrow, and you can find this on Eventbrite, by Pitch Space. So Pitch Space is a new offering that's going after North Carolina entrepreneurs and investors. So if you've got a startup and you're trying to connect with investors, or if you're an investor and you want to see more companies that are pitching, check out pitch-space.com or go to Eventbrite and check out this event that they've got tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. where they're going to have one of these pitch sessions. And they're really trying to focus on investors who want more deal flow and founders who are looking to raise capital. So, if you're in that sweet spot of entrepreneurship or investors, you definitely want to check Pitch Space out. Then next week, you've got the Cabarrus Center. So even if you're not in Cabarrus County, the Cabarrus Center is presenting a virtual event here on the state of entrepreneurship in North Carolina. If anybody knows, is familiar with NC IDEA, the director of NC IDEA, Tom Rue, is very, very he's got a lot of information and insights that they put together on entrepreneurship in North Carolina specifically, and really around the country and around the world, especially in light of the pandemic. So if you want to learn more about the state of entrepreneurship in North Carolina, regardless of whether or not you have any idea where Cabarrus County even is, go to the cabarruscenter.com and check out this virtual event that is happening next Tuesday. Next Wednesday, we have our Pitch Breakfast event. So we're typically on the second Wednesday of the month, and this event will be October 14th in the morning, a virtual Pitch Breakfast event at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be featuring our partners at Idea Fund Partners. This is a seed stage investor organization out of Durham that joins us once a quarter to listen to some of these companies pitch and provide them with expert feedback. Pitch Breakfast is kind of like Shark Tank, but with much nicer sharks. And whether you're a company that wants to get practice on your pitch, or you just want to network and watch other companies pitch, you learn so much by watching their pitches and then watching the expert panelists give them feedback, ask questions and all of that. So highly recommend this event. This will be next Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. There's another event. If you are an investor, if you want to learn more about investing in Charlotte companies, local angel organization Venture South Charlotte has an event next week. That is by invite only, but if you are an investor or you're interested in learning more about investing in Charlotte companies, let me know and we can get you the event details for that event. Also on the 15th and 16th, Flurix Light. So if anybody is familiar with the Flurix conference, it's a fantastic digital conference, really focuses on creativity and women in entrepreneurship. And they highlight this event to celebrate women in technology. They typically do a live event, which was pushed back to next year, but they're going to be featuring next week a virtual version called Flurix Light. And that's going to be next Thursday and Friday. And it's going to be featuring a few people here that you might recognize. I believe Maggie, Michelle, have been on Packard Place Public House events, as well as other events here in town. So it's going to be a great event to connect and learn about women in technology, women in entrepreneurship here in the community. And you'll also get more information on the Flurix conference coming up next year. So a great one to check out and support. And then on Friday, the local development shop, Skookum, has these Friday tech talks where they take a tech topic. And this one is going to be advancing and adapting in the face of adversity. These are really fantastic talk programs that they host. And you can find out more about them on meetup.com. Just look up Skookum Tech Talks, and you'll find next Friday's event here and some of the videos and other events that they hold. And then just to kind of give you guys a preview, we're going to do a special second Pitch Breakfast event this month. This is going to be on October 28th, and it will be done in partnership with Packard Place Public House. So we're going to have a special Pitch Breakfast at Public House event the evening of October 28th, and we're going to feature pitches from the latest QC FinTech class. So we're really excited about that, and really excited about having a second Pitch Breakfast event in the month of October. So all of these events, I'm going to drop links here in the chat if you're interested, or feel free to ask me some questions about them. And I hope to see you at one of these events.
So sometimes it takes just a second to get off the mute there. My computer seems to be relatively slow for whatever reason. But Juan, thank you very much for that. Now I'm going to kind of introduce our panel event and then be able to turn it over to Kaitlin Carpenter. But tonight's event is going to be great. Juan, you were talking about that event, talking about female leadership in digital entrepreneurship and technology, which is a great connection point to tonight's chat. Kaitlin Carpenter, Kaitlin, come on the screen if you want to come on stage, if you're ready to do that. Kaitlin is going to moderate this discussion for us. She is the program manager for RevTech Labs, the Queen City FinTech programs, and all the programs that we run. And so I'm going to let her introduce the topic in the panel discussion tonight, but it'll be a great event, and really excited to hear from the panel. So Kaitlin, take it away.
Thanks. Why certain fields were described as being masculine or just considered being masculine, and one of them is the tech field, and it's really interesting because it's a field that very high paying jobs, and so it would make sense to have a little bit more gender equality in that type of role, and a little bit more of prosperity offerings for young women. And I think the best way to do that is to start when they're young, when they're still kind of figuring out what they're trying to do. And Digital Page is fantastic because they do start fairly early in young women's lives. And we're talking, middle school, high school age women where they're only getting to the tip of the iceberg of what's out there for them. So with that in mind, I'd like to give an Irish hello to Amita and Pinkesh Patel, who will be telling us a little bit more about their nonprofit Digital Page. So let's bring Amita and Pinkesh to the stage.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Yep, can hear you perfectly.
All right.
And then Amita, I think you have the camera and mic on. Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Hi, Kaitlin.
I think we're having trouble hearing Kaitlin.
Maybe a little bit of your connection there, Kaitlin, was a little slow, but go ahead and dive in. If I need to, I'll jump in, but go ahead and jump in.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and just start introducing Digital Page while hopefully Caitlin's internet stabilizes. Pinkesh, you want to kick it off?
Sure. So Digital Page is a nonprofit that Amita and I founded last year. Our mission really is to build a future generation of design-minded women technologists. And the key difference, what's unique and different about us is the design-minded is a key focus. Today, we see a lot of products and solutions in the market. If you work in a technology field, at some point, you're going to probably contribute to designing or building a product that everybody's going to be using in life. So our goal is to create this human-focused mindset where, the products and services you create has to fulfill certain function. It has to function well, and it has to bring joy to the life. Believe it or not, I think we've all seen it. Good or bad product design has an impact on our personal quality of life. So in order to create these good products and services, you have to envision how it's going to work in future, how it's going to impact people's life. And so you have to channel this inspiration by creating or developing certain mindset. And that's what we're focusing on, at the heart of Digital Page. That is a philosophy of the total. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it basically says everything is connected, especially if it relates to, in corporate America, business that we do, employees, employee satisfaction, customer, their experiences, the ethics, the environment, everything is connected. So you have to build a product that's ethical, inclusive, and that's something that has impact in our life and society. And you have to be able to see the whole picture to create a better product and experience, and to have this philosophy of the total. And you have to be what we call a system thinker, which helps you understand what drives people's behavior. So in order to be a technologist, whether you're working in financial sector, health sector, or this could also apply to any sector, right? Not just technology. Having that mindset is the critical. And today, I've worked in this industry for almost 20 years, and that gap continues to exist in the market. We have a lot of technologies, but the mindset of design is something that's a huge gap in the market today. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered the mission itself and our goals pretty well. Kaitlin, I can continue on a little bit around, what we're hoping to accomplish and how, or if you wanted to move into questions.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to build on something that I think is important because, or I think it's a very important distinction for Digital Page, because there's a lot of talk around increasing or decreasing the gender gap in tech fields, but you guys are taking it one step further, where you're kind of outlining the different careers and different mindsets, I guess you could have in technology outside of, I don't want to say just being a coder, but I think that's what most people think is most common perception of a technical career is you're a heads down coder. Can you guys kind of elaborate on that? Like what drove you guys to making that distinction?
I can take it. So, it's a personal experience as well as, what we hear. We also have teenage daughters. Obviously we all gravitate to our children to pursue careers that, we are in. We've been in talks whether they like technology or not. And their impression, as long as their friends' impression in schools, is that we don't want to sit in front of a computer all day long and code. And the reality is that's not the only career option in technology. So what we're trying to do is bring that awareness and education that there are many options that allows you to bring different, perspective and creativity in this field. It's not just sitting in front of a computer and coding all day long.
Yeah, it's a really important aspect. And if you speak to students, you'll see that they have this stereotype in their head that technology equals coding and there's really nothing else for them to do. They don't realize that there's so many different skill sets, passions that are required in order to make a product or service launch successful. And it starts from the very point of idea generation. Conversations and all skill sets need to be presented at that point at the table for any follow-up to happen. Students don't realize it. They're very, at this point in time, from all the conversations I've had, you talk to somebody that's in middle or high school and they go, oh, what are you thinking you want to be? And it's the more popular topics. The reason being is that they don't even understand how well technology has become ingrained into their lives. So they don't think about it as a potential career path or a need that needs to be fulfilled. It's high up there. It's out in the sky. They don't realize it. So what we're looking to do through Digital Page is really bring it back down to your day-to-day life. Help them understand that you're using technology every single day. Help them think about what are the things that you don't like? How would you change it? Why would you change it? Help them understand that mindset and start thinking about it. So this way, when they do move forward, see that there's potential for them and their career paths to follow this, we're there. We're that partner to help open those doors and break down those stereotypes.
That it's very important that we also take into account that technology. I think Amita, you've said it before, where it transcends different industries. No matter what industry you're in, there's some need for technology experts, technology leaders, and then people who are pushing things forward. I do want to ask though, why now? Like, what spurred you guys from to say, yes, we want to create this nonprofit, we want to do it now?
I mean, I can say from my perspective, we both bring our individual talents and skills to the table. It's the right time for us. As Pinkesh mentioned, we've got 2 teenage daughters. We're seeing the challenges that they faced, and they're there. They need to make decisions about their future. I come from an organizational development background. Pinkesh comes from a digital background. We, have the ability and the luxury to merge these 2 skill sets to really make a difference in the world. So why not now?
Yeah, and I think the other, driving factor is I've been in corporate America in large companies for most of my career. A lot of companies do try to create women in tech type, momentum internally within the company. But I've seen you don't really see a true result of it because it's just focusing on what to do with the existing population. If you really want to change that, you have to go out and attack where the future generation is, right? So that's why we created this and focusing on started at middle school. You have to go out in the society to make that change. Just within the company, you're not going to be able to have an impact at a broader scale.
Yeah, very, very well put. And so let's talk about that a little bit more, because I do like the fact that you guys are starting, with younger adults, like right at the point where they might start thinking about like, what do I want to do? But as Amita pointed out, it's probably like, I want to be a lawyer, or like whoever's on TV that like I look up to. If it's like Don Draper, then all of a sudden I want to get into like advertisements or something like that. But like, you guys are starting, fairly early. What would you say is like your ultimate goal? Like, let's say, 10 years from now, what would you be hoping the impact would be of Digital Page?
Well, so obviously we're starting slow. We have ambitious goals of 5-year, 10-year. Eventually, obviously, we're a nonprofit. We want to create. Right now we operate purely on donation and grants. We want to create a self-sustaining organization where by taking a lot of these young professionals and young women that are, potentially interested in the future, we would be be able to offer various corporations, other nonprofits, and school some services, consulting services or delivery services out of this, and then along with that, help other potential female entrepreneurs, with us establishing startup type activity. Eventually, if you look at 10, 15 years down the road, I would almost envision there is this tech center where, hey, all these curious young minds can come and just play around with various aspects of technology. That's how I got into it. So why not make that available to them?
I think a great thing to keep in mind too is the way that our platform is set up is that we're extremely holistic and circular. That being said, we start off with the students at the middle school ages. We follow them through their career path. We're going to be that familiar face no matter where they are in that path of theirs or whatever they choose to be. Doing so, we're allowing them an opportunity to always upskill, to gain the skills that they need to become leaders. So when they're at middle school, we're helping opening those doors. When they're in their secondary education, whatever it may be, because we're not looking to replace any formal education, we're the partners to help them get hands-on experience and really prime them to be the top candidates when they go into the workforce. And when they go into the workforce, we're the same people that are giving them the opportunity to gain the hands-on experience that they need to become the leaders. Because you can get your technical skills, you can get your work experience, but what you're not always getting is the opportunity to learn how to speak, how to present, how to formulate your ideas, bring them to the table, and deliver upon them. So Digital Page looks to provide these opportunities to the women in our organization. And when I say it's holistic and circular, it's because regardless of what level you're at within your career, we hope that it becomes a self-sustaining model, in the sense that you will always be able to mentor somebody younger than yourself, and you'll always be able to receive guidance from a more experienced leader in the industry. You're always giving back. You can take on new roles. You're going to be experiencing and learning new things at all points.
That is awesome. Yeah. And I think you hit on something very, very important, which is like, these are skills that, you know, aren't traditionally taught like in college or even in a high school setting. And they are a game changer, you know, for their career. So that's fantastic. I do want to kind of segue a little bit and talk a little bit more about like the offerings that you guys have, like the different types of services that you'd like to do. I know we talked before, you know, one-on-one about, you guys were talking about the scholarships, potential scholarships, the summer camps, you know, software tools. Seems like you guys are offering
That's the hope.
full gamut.
That is the hope. We're young. We only started about 1.5 years ago. So everything that we're doing, it's, you know, work in progress. But at this point, our biggest launch is a video series called My Tech Story. So that's an opportunity for students to start opening those doors, understanding what options exist for them. We do have a training program that we're in the process of developing. All of this will be free for these students, so we're able to really address the socioeconomic needs of multiple communities, regardless of location. Everything will be virtual, which is really exciting. We're doing some hands-on experiences through hackathons. Right now we're partnering with Tech Together New York and Tech Together Boston, and we're working with those students. It's a female and non-binary femme population, high schoolers, college students. It's really exciting that we have the opportunity to step in, talk about the design mindset, help mentor them, and really start establishing those relationships. We are looking to do summer camps. We're looking to do potentially a high school club. These are all things that are in the works that we're trying to design and really, you know, before we go to market, understand what the needs are of these students and create it around that. And yeah, we're looking to do scholarship opportunities for these students and really help bump up their chances to succeed.
That is fantastic. It almost sounds like you guys are creating more than just, you know, opportunities for, you know, young women getting into these fields. It kind of sounds like you're creating.
That's exactly like what the hope is that we need to be a community. This gap, this mission that we have, it's not a single organization that's going to be able to make a change. Anybody coming into the industry, it's a lifelong effort. At this point, every single person needs to be involved. And even if you're not female, you know somebody that's impacted by the issues that we're facing. It could be your mom, it can be your sister, it can be your daughters. Now's the time to make that change. And what we're really hoping to do is create a community of women and supporters to help these individuals coming into the workforce know that they're not alone. They may be the only person sitting at the table that looks and sounds like themselves, or the only girl walking into the class, but there's an entire network of individuals that's there to support them, you know, when they get out.
That is fantastic, especially as the, you know, transition is happening, you know, because right now the tech field is predominantly male. So there could be a woman who's going into her role and she's really excited. You know, she's been pumped up by Digital Page, and then she walks in there and she's like, oh my God, no one here looks like me. I'm the only woman here. But then she's got the support.
That's where the conversations are so important. And starting the conversations early is critical, because how many times have you walked into a room, or would you have walked into a room, seen nobody that looks like you, and walked right out?
There's been a couple times.
College, I would have, you know, I started a tech role recently, and I have to be honest, it's a little uncomfortable. For the most part, I'm the only female on calls, and you're like, where is everybody? I know they exist. I know there's a ton of us out there. I need to combine them and really have that opportunity for that support, regardless of where you're at in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a great opportunity to kind talk a little bit more about how people can get involved, right? So you're building this community. There's probably people out there, you know, who are either listening to this or probably watching the recording. They're like, oh, this sounds awesome. How do I
Great
get
question.
involved?
So the easiest way is reach out to us. We've got our website. We're on social media. Follow us, message us. We're there. We have an entire team of folks that is really dedicated to just watching and making sure we don't miss anything. But we're looking for mentors to support us. We are looking for individuals that, even if you're not in technology and you have a passion for what we're trying to do, reach out, because like any small business, we have multiple needs. We are looking for partners. Partners means education, anywhere from K through 12, colleges, universities, certification programs. We're looking for organizations, businesses, large, small, fintechs, you name it. We want to talk to you. And even other community partners. As I mentioned, this is a mission that is much larger than any one individual. So all of these nonprofits and community organizations really need to band together to work alongside each other to make this work. So I'm hoping to make as many connections as possible. We are looking for partners, sponsors, individuals that can donate time, money, resources, materials. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it's almost like, you know, where can I get started? I know at least for like individuals, you mentioned before the My Tech Story. Can you kind of elaborate
so
on,
My
on
Tech
what
Story
that
is an informal casual video series. We've launched it. It's out on our YouTube channel. And essentially the goal is to show students in the comfort of their own homes that there are individuals doing the job and helping gain an understanding of what that means. So I may have one person talking about a typical day in the life of. I'd love to have another person talking about cool projects or technology that they're involved in to really help inspire that passion. You know, another that describes what it means to be a technologist. It's such a wide term. People throw it around left and right. What does it mean? How can I get involved? I want these questions to be answered. A lot of students don't even really know what it means to work in a formal setting. So having someone walk them through a typical day in their life, you know, if they're going into a meeting, information around what that meeting is. If they're answering emails, why are you answering emails? Why are you always on emails? You know, giving insight to these students because they don't realize it. They just see you behind a screen typing away with no context.
Yeah.
So hearing these videos, these stories from professionals that are doing these jobs day in and day out is really going to help open that first door, help inspire them. So My Tech Story launched around that. These are just individuals that are willing to share their passions. It's a great opportunity for individuals to get in touch with us, start working with us, and it's something that you can do in under 10 or 15 minutes at any time of your day when you've got some free time and you know you finally got some coffee or wine in your hand, whatever it may be. You've got a few minutes to breathe. Think about what you want to say and what you would tell someone if you were going to introduce them to a topic about technology and what your day is. And that's what My Tech Story hopes to do. It's inspiring students.
I love that because that's one of the things that I think is definitely important. You know, as you're growing up, you know, when you're saying, "Oh, I want to be this person," or "This is the job I want to do," it's like, well, do you know what that entails? You know what your day to day is going to look like. Are you still going to love it when you're in that career? So you guys are basically giving them like that insight into what that field would look like.
Yeah, the whole goal is to set them up for success. So if giving them this type of information is going to do it, then that's part of our responsibility.
That's fantastic. What kind of, just out of curiosity, what kind of roles like would you be looking for like people to do these My Tech Stories?
I think so far, I mean, the whole goal, if you look at it, is to educate the population on, you know, if you're working in technology, what are different roles? So we're not limiting as long as you're working in technology, just or anything related to technology, right? So we have videos that receive that somebody is doing audit on cybersecurity, right? They're not even part of technology, but it is related to technology. Project management, analysts. The whole goal is we just want these guys to understand what it means when somebody's saying I'm a project manager, for example, or you didn't even know what a project management was, right? And it's not just sitting in front of a computer coding all day long. So, and this video series we picked because it helps you relate to the human, and the whole goal is that they can see themselves doing certain roles or not, right? Because it's basically older version of those kids in middle school.
And the other important thing, and the reason why we hope to throw such a wide net through My Tech Story, is to help these students understand the connection points, that technology transcends industries. If you have an interest in healthcare, guess what? They use tech. If you're interested in retail, arts, entertainment, they use tech. So you don't need to limit yourself in how you're going to approach your career. You can really do anything you want with it. And through My Tech Story, they'll see firsthand what those opportunities are. We've got a few videos up already where people take personal passions, topics, community issues that they're passionate about, and they're able to tie it back to technology through their roles. And we need to highlight this to help the students understand, and the young professionals, because even if you're working, you may not realize that you can transfer those skills into another position or another industry.
Yeah.
So it's this type of information and knowledge that we're looking to share.
That is fantastic. And I know we only have a couple minutes left, so I think one of the most important questions I think I'd like to hit on is, because you mentioned, scholarships and like how you're also interested in organizations reaching out to you. So I'd like to also ask you guys, what types of organizations would you guys like to talk to, or which ones do you think would benefit the most from partnering with you guys?
I would say any organization that is interested in making a difference in the gender gap and helping to increase the population of females coming into the industry. Doesn't matter what your roles are, we'll be able to work together. There's a lot of opportunity, and the great thing is we're young, so we're very flexible in how we work together with other organizations. Pinkesh, did I miss anything?
No, I think, especially if there are organizations that has program where they want to, identify future talents, internship program, those are all welcome as well. Any help, and as Amita said, even if organization doesn't have any program like this is just making an impact in society. So anybody's welcome.
Yeah, like the way that you guys are describing, like the impact that you're looking to make. These are definitely candidates that I think companies will be vying over, right? They'll be very it'll benefit anyone to have someone who has like these I don't want to say softer skills, because I feel like that just kind of is a little demeaning, but having like these very usable skills that are not taught in school. They're not I guess like a part of any type of curriculum without digital page. So I think that is fantastic. One last question. I know I just said that was my last question, but I guess Fry's question, because you guys also mentioned software tools that these students could have access to. What types of tools are you guys talking about?
We haven't specifically. We have a few tools in mind, but the focus is non-technical skills. So there are a lot of supplemental tools that are in the market that people could be using. Microsoft Office is one example, but we also have free version like Google. I'll take, graphic program, for example, Illustrator, Photoshop. Those are expensive software, but if somebody's interested in learning, for example, can't afford it. And there are lists of other software programs like that. So we're working on a list, but the goal is anybody who cannot afford, whether through subscription or just buying a license from them.
I will take 30 seconds and just add to that. The tools and resources are critical, but if that's something that you're going to hesitate on supporting us with, it can be time. Time and a willingness to chat with somebody is probably the most important aspect of what we need. And then we'll work on getting the tools and resources and build those partnerships we can get to it. But, from the information that we've shared, if there's something that you are uncomfortable with, please don't deter that from reaching out, because there really are just so many opportunities for anyone to make a difference, and can be something as simple as a 1-hour commitment or a longer term. but there's a lot of options.
Awesome. Well, I think that was the best line to end it on. So I just wanted to thank you so much, Amita and Pinkesh, for taking the time to come speak with us about Digital Page. I personally think that this is a fantastic nonprofit. This is something that I've actually personally been wondering when someone like you guys were going to come around and do this, and you're here. So I just want to let our audience know, if you guys are interested in getting involved, I did post a link in the chat. I'll also share it when I share.
Yep.
Not sure where to start. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for having us. Enjoy your evening, everybody.
Yeah. You as well. Thanks so much. And thanks to everyone for watching. And I thought I was going to time that perfectly, but I have another 6 seconds to stare awkwardly at the camera.